Meeting to order, it's 10 a.m.
Commissioner Cater.
Here.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Here.
Commissioner Buck.
Here.
There's a quorum present.
As you wish, please stand for the pledge and the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Commissioner.
Dear Lord, please be with us as we go and do what's best for the county, make the best decisions we can. Dear Lord, be with us as we go out through the day and keep us all safe, especially with all this rain and flooding. And dear Lord, I just ask that you be with us. I ask this in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
The consent agenda is on the board. It has been published. Motion, please.
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Commissioner, I'd like to interrupt. Can we amend the agenda to include destruction of records for auditor, treasurer, and the recorder of deeds? Is
Okay.
that possible?
Is it, sir, is it okay to go ahead with the consent agenda and then amend the agenda?
Have you voted on it? If you
No,
haven't
just add
voted on
motion.
it, just amend it, consent agenda, because you've already got, records for the auditor, you wanna add.
Treasurer and recorder of deeds.
So if somebody make that amendment, you can do that and then approve the, consent agenda.
Okay, I'll amend the consent agenda to, also destruction of records for the treasurer, the recorder of deeds, and auditor.
Okay, so this motion is to amend the agenda. And, so I have a second on that?
And the auditor was already on there.
Yeah, we already have the auditor.
Yep.
So, all in favor, aye, of amending the agenda?
Aye.
Aye.
Now, we go back to the consent agenda.
As amended.
As amended. And a motion?
And the motion to approve the.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
As amended.
As what?
As amended.
As amended.
And second?
A second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Now, thank you, Lynn. Okay, additional cost of new trucks. These trucks are ordered when, in April, John?
In the last year, really.
Okay.
So these were gonna be purchased through Pettis locally. As we've mentioned before though, with the fleet vehicles, there's a scheduled window when they can be built. We knew this going into it, but they said they could deliver the product within 60 to 90 days. That has not happened yet. So with the nature of these trucks, they're just a half-ton four-door pickup. And that was my question to them. You guys can't find these somewhere throughout the eastern Missouri? Well, these trucks, since they're
Forward drive.
four-wheel drive, since they're not a fleet vehicle, we do not get a fleet discount. So the price will increase by $3,000 per truck. They are still gonna be cheaper than the second bid that we're gonna be purchasing.
Okay. Now, is that 3,000 because of inflation? What's the deal?
Because we do not get the fleet
Okay,
discount,
because it went to a different category.
basically.
Yeah.
I think, John, when they build these trucks, they get a call and they build them, and they're not what it is that they haven't built these trucks, and it just keeps putting it back.
There's a window that you can order the trucks, and then there's a window when they build the trucks. And they haven't opened either one of those windows yet. So.
So you don't know when you're gonna get the trucks yet?
He said it could be middle of 25.
Okay, and so what's gonna happen to the price between now and then?
This is the price with,
Okay.
Since
So
we're
the
going from
3,000
the
just
fleet-
because we went to another category,
correct,
not inflation?
yes. So the new price will go to 48,334 instead of 45,334.
Yeah.
Okay, but now we're talking about the 3,000 added.
That is correct, and that is per
Even
truck.
3,000.
Even 3,000 per truck.
It's the same truck, we're just really taking it off somebody's lot.
Pretty much.
It's just not considered fleet.
These are still gonna be about $2,000 per truck cheaper than the next bid.
Okay, motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the additional costs for the new trucks of $3,000 per truck. It'd be $6,000, and the trucks will cost us $48,334 a piece.
I'll second.
Okay, any questions? Yeah, Lloyd?
So is there going to be a contract, a guarantee, and locks in this price, or are we gonna get another price 6 months from now?
I could have him do a contract on it.
We
But I
could
mean,
just-
this was just bid, we didn't have a contract the first time. This was just,
It's our
Bid out.
recommendation that there is some sort of
Guarantee.
legitimate guarantee that we're with this price.
Okay. John, will you work on that?
I will.
Okay, thank you.
We will, and really, Louis, it's just like our dump trucks. You know, we've got dump trucks from 2 years ago that we haven't really got, right?
Well, we've had dump trucks that were bid out and we may not get them for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then there's a
Yeah.
steel surcharge where the prices increase based even off of what they bid on it.
And, I mean, if I'm right, they're gonna be building a new truck, we probably ought to go ahead and, I mean.
I understand all that, but I don't, a couple of
I
weeks ago,
understand what you're saying.
we had
We
an
need a
increase
guarantee.
on the
Yeah.
price that we'd already approved a bid on.
Yeah,
You're right. If we need something,
I agree.
that'd be awesome.
Okay, John, you're gonna work on that?
Yep.
Any other questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Aye. Okay, new BOE member, we, Board of Equalization, and that board is consists of the three of us, plus a real estate, a banking, and an agricultural person. And to represent those points of view. And it shows on the bottom, if you, about your assessment, this on the personal issue. We'd like to add Daniel Burns, to this. So, motion?
Make a motion, we approve Daniel Burns to the BOE.
Second?
Second.
Questions?
We do that Board of Equalization for the Federal Public Information today.
Today?
Today.
Right? So, graduate, starts at 11 a.m. Okay, any other questions or comments? So put, I know to work soon. Okay, motion, or, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Federal Recreation Trails Grant Program. Want to talk?
What's the federal, another grant program that we've been trying to get, and this will be, if you know more about it.
well, what this is, it's a recreational trails program, and this is what we usually use grants for the Owl Creek Park. And what we're doing, Bridget, we have to spend the remainder of the ARPA funds, and this is just really, we're gonna appropriate towards Owl Creek, and we can use it in these grants for matching funds for federal money. It allows us to use that money. If the grants, we can go for a larger grant and use these funds to match it. And that's gonna be running out, right, Bridget? If we don't use these funds and they won't let us on future grants, we need to appropriate that money for them.
This
So-
is a grant that we've already applied for.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what is the deadline that we have to utilize these funds? September?
That needs to be allocated by the end of this year.
By the,
By the end of this year, and it needs to be spent by the end of 2025.
right,
Okay, the allocation is when?
didn't they use
The end of
the?
Wasn't it September 30th?
I thought it was September, yeah, 30th.
So September 30th of 2026 is when it needs to be spent by
Okay.
for
26.
That's for September.
infrastructure projects. If it's not an infrastructure project, it has to be spent by the end of 2026, 12/31/2026. We need to allocate everything. by
The allocation date is at the last day of the year? I thought
Correct.
it was September also.
For-
Well,
That was for infrastructure projects.
okay, okay,
So, yeah.
got you, all right.
So what is this basically doing? It's just setting up so that we know how to use these funds?
Because I need to allocate it in the system with the US Department of Treasury, and there's not a whole lot left, and this grant, we've already applied for it, and if we get it, we need match money, and this will help us with the match money.
And really in future grants, if the match money, right, we might not be able to appropriate that money for future grants, they might not allow us, right, Bridget? We know that we could match this money, the federal grant, federal money, the ARPA money.
Right, some grants we can't use federal match money.
And some we can't, so, I mean, this really gives us a reason we can use this money if we have to.
So by passing this, are we giving you permission to take a hard look at and figure out the best way to utilize these funds? Is that what we're doing?
Basically, but if we are awarded this grant, then we'll be able to use the rest of the ARPA money as match money.
As match money. we're in a lot of
This
grants,
will
we're not gonna be
be the
able.
phase 2 of the trails for Owl Creek.
So what
this is
happens
the
if you
trails.
don't receive the grant then? What happens to the ARPA funds?
We still use it for Owl Creek.
We'll know if we
can
got
still
the
use it.
approval for the grant before the deadline for the
Okay.
end of the year.
Okay, Mike, is this for phase 2 or what is
Phase
this?
2.
Phase- This is the advanced
And
treatment of the park.
we've made the short list for this one. So
Okay, I didn't pick up on what you said.
We've made the short list.
We are on the
For-
top,
for this
we are
grant.
on the top, of what they're looking at.
Yeah, I've heard about your phone calls, they're very pleased with your work.
Hopefully we'll find out pretty soon if we got final approval.
All right. So the park is moving along quickly. Okay, any other questions or second motion on this? I don't think so.
Not yet, no, but, give permission to, go to the, use the rest of the ARPA funds for the, Federal Recreation Trails Grant Program.
Okay.
Second that.
Second. Questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Approval of contractors signed contracts. I think Mr. Jeremy Manning's going to take over here.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
Yeah. You don't want this guy for your lawyer.
respected members of the public, all these are, just so everybody knows, the Berry Road Bridge was bid. We had to send all the bids into MoDOT. MoDOT has to approve them and give us permission to give the contractor notice of award. We've done that, so the county sent the contractor notice of award. At that point, then they ordered their bonds and insurance, and they signed their portion of the contract, which is why we're here now. So once we sign the contract, then we'll send that back to MoDOT again. They review it again, and then we'll work out a time to do a pre-construction meeting with the contractor and then give a notice to proceed.
How much time is involved there?
So the contractor is saying, it's very little now.
Yeah.
In fact, it's just a local MoDOT. It doesn't have to go back to Jeff City. Local guys look at this. They can usually turn this around in a day. But the point is, the contractor has the ability to start essentially when he wants. And he is gonna start, I believe, in late September, is what they told me just a couple days ago.
So when am I gonna be able to drive across this bridge?
We really won't get, it'd be earlier than that.
He'd send me across next week. I know what he can do.
It really won't be discussed until, I mean, their exact start time will be discussed as soon as we do our pre-construction meeting. And that'll be happening very soon. So whenever he says let's go ahead and schedule it, we'll give you all about a week or two notice, and then we'll schedule that, and then that's when we talk about it.
A year for completion.
It'll be, I can't remember, it's in this contract, probably could find it pretty quick.
And tell them we gotta get these buses on.
It's 270 contractors.
Okay.
And I believe they're starting, they said before the end of September. I can't remember exactly, so let's just say mid-September.
Tail end next year will be, the bridge will be in use.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But anyway, so that's what this is. So they've sent their bonds, their insurance. We're ready for you guys to execute your portion of the contract and then go from there. And that gives them the right, we'll have to send back a letter also for their tax exemption. They can start ordering materials. So that's where we're at.
This stuff doesn't happen overnight, as you guys are aware of.
So
And
Jeremy,
the county has to test these.
you need, from us, an agreement that we're going to sign these contracts. Is that what you're asking for? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the signing of these contracts?
I make a motion, we approve the signing of the contracts for the Berry Road Bridge sooner than better.
Second.
Second.
Any questions?
We gotta get these buses off this island.
All in favor of signing the Berry Road Bridge contracts, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Terrence.
Yeah, it doesn't
We'll
move
get
very
this
fast.
done.
It hasn't moved very fast.
No more questions?
What?
Questions?
Yeah.
We're asking Jeremy to meet with the auditor's office after this meeting to answer some questions.
That'll work.
All right, thanks, Jeremy. Okay. Permission to bid guardrails. How many linear feet of guardrails are there?
About 260,
Okay.
real close to it.
Look at that picture.
This is for the guardrail on the Cedar Run Bridge that is now constructed. We have contacted a couple of the local vendors, that they all get it from one supplier out of O'Fallon, Missouri. But due to the cost of the guardrail, we need to bid this out. I'm pretty sure it's gonna come from that one central supplier. And we may
can't
get,
$12.
we're not.
Okay.
We may get, some other bids, but they all have to get it through this vendor.
John, can you explain to me, like, I mean, I'm looking at that right now, what style guardrail will this be?
I wish we had a little bit of a different view, so there'll be a post,
It's
90
his fault.
degrees.
Yeah.
Oh,
You want a
his
selfie
fault.
one?
No,
Took
I'm
a
good.
se- Okay.
So there'll be a post that's anchored onto the side, there's inserts on the exterior beams, and then there'll be a guardrail, like a W style guardrail. What are those, about 16 inches?
Depends on what you want.
Yeah.
And they're
I have-
louvered, the louvered
Yes.
style.
WB.
Yeah.
WB, yeah. So about 260 feet.
Okay. Permission to bid this out? Motion.
I make a motion that we give permission to bid the guardrails out for the Cedar Run Bridge.
Second.
Second.
Questions?
I will say, you guys approved us to use about 300,000 of the ARPA interest. We are gonna be extremely close to that number once we do the guardrail, so we should be right there.
What
where we need to be.
guardrail's the final item?
We have to pave those approaches,
Okay.
but we're just gonna do that as part of
You
our.
mean you're not gonna leave that ramp on there?
Now,
No,
Do you like that?
that's actually.
Some of them are
pretty
like that.
level, yeah, so.
I should have sent
We-
that.
Come here and settle it, we like
Yeah, there
that.
you go.
Yeah, I should have sent this.
We will
one.
be real close to, the estimated amount of 300,000 on this bridge.
Okay.
Very
John,
close.
are they driving over this? They're not driving over.
No,
the
Not
he's
right
got,
now.
Yeah.
he's got a
Not this
machine,
Roughly?
he's got a machine in front of this one, which
Well,
I'm right by,
Now,
and he's got a
am I
machine
correct?
on the
The
other
old
side.
bridge, you would be driving, I mean, it had no.
You would be
rail
driving
there.
across it
Yeah.
today.
I
No.
people don't realize the old bridge, that's literally, you could go off the edge if you wasn't sure if the water was up.
Yeah.
So this is,
You could see the downstream
Much-
side, but you couldn't see the upstream
yeah,
side.
this
when
is
you
much
get to us.
safer and better. I appreciate them guys, what they've done up there, because I've had some incidents in the past up there, and people don't realize how nice this is.
Well, there's a
compared to
fatality
what-
here, wasn't there?
The what?
There's a fatality.
Yes,
About
yes,
12
there's
years
been.
ago.
I mean, when the water comes up, it's like John was talking before, when it comes up, you do not wanna drive over that, but it does go down quick.
It
But,
does.
but during that time, people would try it.
What
You killed
is,
the guy.
what is the elevation difference of it now versus before?
So we raised it, I think 8 inches above what you had it at. So we're about
Which is about-
56, 58 inches higher than what it originally was, and that's at the bottom quarter of the beam.
Right.
So before when you got a
So
2 inch
it's
rain,
over 8 feet taller.
you
than
get
what
a
it
2
was.
inch rain and you'd have it going over the,
Wait a minute.
low water crossing.
Over 8 feet taller, is that what you said?
And let me, you still suspect if we have a right flood, it could go over this.
So we're hoping it doesn't go over the bridge the way it was engineered. It will
Yeah.
actually overtake this side.
Yeah.
The part closest to us is the east side of the bridge, and it will actually overtake this part of the road.
Who
instead of
engineered
going
this
over-
bridge?
I don't know.
But the
Jerry-
one thing about it, what I was wanting people to know, if you pull up to that.
Not to
and
call
it
any
is
names
flooded,
or anything, but
It's way safer, cause you're gonna have the guardrails and you're gonna know a little
You'll
bit
know where the edge
more
of the
now
road's
than any time before.
And I
It'll be
believe-
much safer.
I believe I mentioned this in the other commission meetings.
Yeah.
School buses will not travel through flowing water,
Yeah.
regardless of the depth.
The most,
Yeah, I mean-
the most amazing thing from an outside perspective that a lot of people outside of the county government don't realize is how rare it is to have a county that is capable of building that kind of structure. I mean, you just don't see it.
Yeah.
How many counties do you represent or work for?
Pulaski to Penobscot. So that's a lot.
Yeah.
And how many counties do this in-house?
New Madrid County surprisingly builds structures. So I'm gonna go back and say that their concrete capacity is not as good as y'all's. Y'all's ability to pour concrete is as good as probably most any contractor. The one thing that New Madrid County has that you don't is they drive their own pile, but they're also in the boot hill.
but they're different kind of soil too.
Yeah, you run into,
It's
and where everything we have.
extremely
is rock.
rare that you need, not extremely, it's rarer.
We know what rock is, they don't.
Correct.
And this was gonna be about a third of the cost
Oh, yeah.
to have this bridge built by a contractor.
Well, this is much safer than what was there before. And if you start to drive over, if it is flooding, I think, you know, you're gonna have the guardrails, you're gonna know where the water's at a little more, it's way safer.
Well, and this should handle
Don't drive.
3
It's
or
the
4
same,
inch
yeah.
rain water.
It's the same capacity too, so don't, just because the county built it, it's the exact same standards, the exact same quality as if it was bid out.
Yeah.
These are still pre-stressed beams bought from a beam supplier, so you're still having the non-load rated bridge that is, it's a good structure.
What do you mean by non-load bridge?
So unless you get over,
80,000?
essentially, yeah, depending on which loading, legal load rating you're using.
But we essentially are the general contractors on the project, the counties. So we bid out the
This bridge,
beams, everything.
sorry, John, this bridge will actually hold well over 80,000 pounds.
Yeah, but that's the maximum a truck's supposed to be.
Correct.
Yeah, right, supposed to be.
Supposed to be.
You don't wanna be on that road anymore.
Okay, did I get motions on this? or-
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? All in favor of permission to bid, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next regular meeting will be right here next week, and I know y'all just can't wait to be here next time, so I appreciate that. Correspondence. Public comments. Louis, I think you have a departmental report.
I do, Commissioners. We have information from the U.S. Census and Data USA, U.S. Census 2020, Data USA 2024, 67,000 population in the county, with 17% 65 years and older of the population. Now, I'm going to preface this with a little Reader's Digest version here for just a moment. Household ownership is 69% in the county. In Missouri, it's 67%. 75% of housing values is over $100,000, and that's defined by the U.S. Census as saying apartments, houses, rental units. The median property value is $142,000. Also, 29,000 housing units are in St. Francis County, but it doesn't break down how many apartments. Of the 29,000, there are 3,800 vacant properties in St. Francis County, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. Median household income is $47,000 in St. Francis County compared to $65,000 across the state. Poverty rate is 18% in St. Francis County compared to 13% across Missouri. And 75% of the housing values is over $100,000. Now, the reason I mention all of this is because, oh, by the way, these numbers are skewed because former state senator, state representative, mayor, city councilman, Mr. Engler, can testify our census is based on the inclusion of 2 state prisons.
And a mental health center and a storage unit.
So those numbers are skewed. So throw those numbers out, everything I just told you, okay? But,
And that happens a lot because I remember one time at the chamber, they brought this doctor from Mizzou down to talk to us about the alarming rate of income loss and education loss in our area and what we were gonna do to combat it. I raised my hand and said, did you factor in the Bonterra prison with 2,500 people that are low education, low income, no income? And he went, never mind. I kind of made the presentation much sharper.
but the reason I mention all of this, ladies and gentlemen, is the governor signed Senate Bill 756, also known as Senate Bill 190, and that was for the senior citizen tax credit. Emphasize the word credit. So I'm requesting that the commission call a conference with the assessor, with the treasurer, with the recorder of deeds, and certainly with the collector and the auditor's office to assess what we are going to do moving into the future, because our office has officially started the budget process for 2025, and we need to know what the impact, fiscal impact, financial impact could be on the county, and certainly the expense brought to the county to administer this potential bill.
I haven't found a copy of 756 yet. Last I looked, it wasn't available, the final version.
I have a copy of it.
Okay,
The
good.
the only
It's-
thing it effectively
it's out now.
does is change the effective age of the people that qualify from Social Security recipients to age 62.
Right.
That's
It
all
changed
the
it.
other
There's
amendments.
still a bunch of questions on it.
Yeah, all the other amendments didn't
You
make.
still need to be an owner of record of a homestead, which is your primary residence, and the county may grant a property tax credit to eligible taxpayers.
Yeah, we'll have to get that, and we need to act on it. We need to take some positions on that. Okay, any other departmental reports? Nick's coming forward.
Yes. This is just a report on the emergency management on the tornado sirens that we had approved for purchase a few months back. They are going to install two either this week or next week.
Okay.
So one of them's gonna be out at Hunter's Ridge. We marked the sites last Tuesday, and the other one's gonna be at Double D and Double O.
Is it double D and double O, and that would project, how far will they hear that from them?
I mean, I'll tell you exactly how far, I don't know, it's.
They're loud.
Yeah, they're loud, and we had two spots to choose from, and we went with the higher elevation, to get further out, so.
Some of my Mennonite friends were talking about this and asked me how often, excuse me, how often do they test this? I said every morning at 2 a.m.
Oh. I just got up doing my field work.
When you test that, and I'm saying once they're up and you say you do test it, will you have somebody like farther down to see where they pick up on the?
We can, I mean, we can definitely, I'll go out there one Monday and see how far out we can go. As far as, you know, if it's working properly, it reports back to 911, they have a system that says, yes, it's working, no, it's not. But yeah, I can have the company, we just decided where we were putting it at last Tuesday, and he's gonna make another aerial map and show how far it should go by standards. Of course, it will go farther than that, depending on the maintenance and everything else, so.
Well, I mean, and I know when they test, but I can literally, from where I live, I can hear Farmington sirens. And that's 4 miles.
Yeah.
So, it'll be an advantage for those people.
Absolutely.
And of course, you know, tornadoes, John knows, out in that area, they've been kind of rough down through there here the last few years, which is a plus. I think that's great for doing it.
Absolutely.
You want to introduce Cody?
Our new IT guy Cody back here in the back.
Oh.
Welcome around, just tell him hi.
Did you notice I got the name right that time?
Yeah. That's all I got, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Steve.
And I'm hoping Kevin can give us an update on who's winning in the early vote so far.
Well, we have about 160 voters so far, which is slower than anticipated. I was at a county clerk's meeting last week, and they are all running slower than what we anticipated. So I don't know when the people are, I cannot believe we're not gonna get out and vote. We've got 3 weeks from today to get that done. We started having a couple extra poll workers there because yesterday was a pretty good sized day, but we don't know when it's gonna turn on. It's just, our 2-person staff is doing absentees and voter registration changes. They're taking care of the voters. But, and then I did want to mention, Linda's produced this assessed valuation, and we've got all the details here in between the real estate and personal property. But basically, we're going to be just under $1 billion in the assessed situation here. We're going to finish the year right now at 988. It's a little bit fluid because, as Eric could tell you, on personal property, the people that have not turned in, right now we're showing what's been turned in. There will be more This year, we're actually $14 million below, but he tells me by the end of the year, and they get all those people that haven't reported comes in, it will actually come up to pretty close to even. So if we don't go over $1 billion this year, we will probably next year.
Does that change anything except just that number?
Well, it does bring in a little bit more revenue because that's up about 2% from where we were last year, because new construction was up. Let's see if I've got that.
But not in classifications or ratings?
Not so much, no, not rating, it's just the overall property. He hasn't reassessed much other than transactions. You know, when somebody, you know, says that the value of the house is $350,000 because that's what it was sold for, that's probably reflected here in new construction. So we are making growth, and so you get it through appreciation of value, and you also get it in when another apartment building at H Highway gets built. That's property values are total volume going up, and that's where we're approaching the $1 billion. It's a little bit deceptive because St. Genevieve, for example, has got what was it, 1.2 billion or something like that?
St.
More
Genevieve
than us.
has more assessed valuation than what St. Francis County has. Also, St. Francis County is the smallest first-class county based on assessed valuation in the state.
What is that threshold?
We had put it off three.
And also in population.
To be a first-class county?
Yeah, we had put it off, I think, 3 times, raised the limit. Now, we reached that, but St. Genevieve, for example, has not reached it because the limit was raised. We had put a COLA, if you would, going, reflecting the raise in property values before they could qualify, but they should qualify for second class county.
So again, who's winning in here to vote? Don't you have a button you can push?
Yeah.
Will you also remind our alcohol retailers that the county liquor license is past due?
Yeah, we will send out dunning letters again and hit them again, because if you remember, you all apply a little bit of a hit if they don't make it. So I try to get it out right before that hit happens, so that you really want to pay extra for this. You know?
Don't have to do it anyway.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get it, so why not get it and not have to pay the extra fee?
Any other departmental reports?
And it's raining.
Thank you for that update. Board of Equalization will be scheduled starting at 11 a.m. So that's going to happen right here. And we have 3 meetings scheduled so far.
We have 3 people that are appealing, and then we have a pass-through, the ones that appeal all the time. That are typically your utilities, if they go ahead, if they have to come through here, you have to turn them down, then they have to go to the state.
Anything else? Yes, Dan?
I had one thing. Last Friday, we had the annual Don Brady and Top Golf Tournament, and 80 people showed up to play golf. It was a great success. We would probably come in around $10,000 or $11,000 for that one day, and this is their 12th year, and they've donated approximately $150,000 to the shop for the top of the rest of the year. I want to congratulate them. Good work.
Anybody else?
Nick didn't win it this time, right?
They come in third in a 2-man race.
Anybody else? Anybody important this time?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.